Alright guys, welcome to the channel once again. Yes, today we're going to have a simple conversation on the things you need to check when buying a used iPhone. The iPhone market in Africa here is growing, is seriously growing, because Africa has the most youthful population, and most of the youth like to flaunt with luxurious phones and expensive phones and expensive gadgets and all. For instance, I'm a tech guy. I like gadgets, so I like to flaunt with the best and the newest gadget in the system. The iPhone market in Africa here is really growing, but then research also states that most of the iPhones we are using here in Africa are all second-hand. I'm not saying all the phones we are using are second-hand. Most of the phones we are using in Africa here are used for. Most people do not buy phones right from a retail shop. Most people do not buy iPhones straight from the Apple store or a retail shop. Yes, and I'm not saying buying a used iPhone is a bad thing. No, it's not. It's not. Looking at the current situation, buying a new iPhone from Apple store or from a retail shop, this alien economy is not such a good idea. Yes, if you can afford it, it's fine, but then considerably it's really not a good idea. So you have to pay a huge amount of money for comparing it to the current exchange rate and then what is happening in this country. So it's kind of understandable, and I think a better option at the moment. And then when you are buying a used iPhone, these are the most important things you need to check. Don't just go in there because you see it's an iPhone, just check your cameras and then you just check your other stuff and then you are done. There are most important things you need to check when you are buying a used iPhone. Let's just jump right in. Alright, so first of all, when you are buying a used iPhone, ask the vendor or the person selling the phone to you that is the phone network locked or network unlocked. Because if the phone is network locked, that means the phone was configured right from the factory by Apple to work for a particular kind of network service provider. Most of these phones are designed for this kind of companies. Like for instance, you might buy an iPhone and it was designed for T-Mobile. That means when you bring it here in Africa, networks like MTN, Airtel, Tigo and other network service providers SIM are likely not to function on that kind of phone unless you go back to unlock it. So when you are buying a used iPhone, something you need to consider: ask the vendor, is the phone network locked or network unlocked? That's one thing. When you are buying an iPhone, another thing you need to check is it factory unlocked or factory locked? A factory unlocked phone allows you to use any SIM card at any time, but then when you switch to multiple SIM providers, you have issues. For instance, if I buy the phone and I start using the phone with an MTN SIM and later I like to switch to Vodafone SIM, yeah, it might work. But in future or in years to come, if I decide to switch to, let's say, Airtel Tigo, it might not work because it's factory unlocked. You get it? It might not work because it's factory unlocked. That is also a disadvantage of buying a used iPhone. So you'd also have to make sure you remember that one and also ask the vendor if the phone is factory locked or factory unlocked. And there is also another thing you need to check. Make sure the phone is worldwide unlocked or worldwide locked. If your phone is worldwide unlocked, it's a very bad thing. It's really bad. If an iPhone is worldwide unlocked, it's really bad. Fine, they allow you to, when the phone is worldwide unlocked, they allow you to use any network provider SIM that you want. However, don't ever think of going back to do a factory reset of the phone. No, please don't, because you wouldn't want to be in that kind of situation. As soon as you try to factory reset a worldwide unlocked iPhone, the phone is automatically going to be chip unlocked. Yes, there's a difference between SIM lock and chip lock. When you try to unlock an iPhone that is worldwide unlocked, the phone will automatically be chip locked. When your phone is chip locked, you're going to spend a considerably huge amount of money to fix that. So you wouldn't want to be in that situation. So when you are buying a used iPhone, ask the vendor, is it worldwide unlocked or worldwide locked? Alright, and one thing you need to also check when you are buying an iPhone is, please, this is very important, make sure you power the phone on and you power it off in front of the vendor before you leave. Don't be deceived. Most of the Android phones that they are doing of late are actually copying the architectural look and then feel and then the aesthetical values of the iPhones. So you might see an Android phone lying there and you look just like an iPhone, but then it's not an iPhone. They have the same body as an iPhone, They have the same camera as an iPhone. They have the same interface as an iPhone. The screen is just like an iPhone, the same shape, the same body, the same size, but it doesn't mean it's an iPhone. So the best thing, or to be on the safer side, is make sure you power the phone on. And when you power the phone on, make sure you've seen the Apple logo animated. When you power it on, the Apple logo will come in animated. When you power it off, it will still come in animated before the phone goes off. So make sure you do that. And then now you get to the house and then you try powering the phone on, and all you see is an Android logo popping up. And then that's what they will ask you. So you get it. So make sure you power it on and you power it off in front of the vendor to make sure the Apple logo is appearing. And then you can actually confirm that yes, you are actually buying an iPhone or you are buying an Android. Check the battery health. Yes, check the battery health. It's simple. Just go to settings and then click, and then go to settings, power, and then check your battery health. It's very important. Make sure your battery health is above 50%, because if you buy an iPhone with a battery health below 50%, it's a waste of money, because you are going to spend all your time sitting beside a plug or sitting beside a power socket, because your battery will always be low and you always have to be charging, or else you will have to be walking around with a power bank. To be on the safer side, you have to be walking around with a generator. So that's why. So even if there is power out or power outage, so you just plug your generator and then you start charging your battery. Do not buy any used iPhone with a battery percentage of less than 50. It's a waste of money. You'll be throwing your money away. Don't ever do that. Next thing you need to check is check the body wall. Please check the body wall. As I told you, like friend, let me use my country for instance. When you come to Ghana here, you go to Circle. You go to Tiptoe Lane and you are buying a used iPhone. As soon as they see that you are in there to buy a used iPhone, it's like, yes, Charlie, you see everybody swamping all over you. Before you realize they've swapped the phone in the body of an iPhone, but it's not really an iPhone. So please, when you're buying an iPhone, then one thing you need to do is be vigilant, open your eyes and check the body properly. Check for scratches, check for the back glass to see if it's not broken or something. Check the screen also properly before you buy. Play music. Make sure you play music to also test the speakers. Yes, another thing you need to do is make sure you play music to check the speakers. iPhone speakers are very good. The bass is super and then it's very powerful. So before you buy a used iPhone, make sure you've tested the speaker by playing a music. Particularly, you can even pick a song that has a lot of bass in it. When I'm buying a used iPhone, I like to test the speaker with instrumentals. I don't like to even use a music to an already prepared music to test the audio. I like to test the speaker using instrumentals. That one you get to have a feel of it. Yeah, so test it to make sure the speaker is actually working before you make the purchase. Also, put in a charging port. Another thing you need to do is very important. Put in a charging port, plug it, and make sure your phone charges to at least 2%. It charges your battery to like 2% and above for you to make sure yes, your charging port is working, because you might get home and realize your charging port is not even working. Then you go like, you've wasted your money, you've wasted time, and all. You have to spend an amount of money to go and repair the charging port, which might not even work properly afterwards. So make sure you check it, plug it, charge it in front of the vendor to make sure it has charged more than 2% to see that yes, charging port really works. Final thought, buying a used iPhone is a great idea. It's not really bad. Like I said earlier, in this alien economy, it's the best option for us. Personally, I don't even buy most of the phones I use are not new. I do swaps. But then I deal with people I trust, so that's a different ball game altogether. If you are working with somebody you trust, somebody you've dealt with before, the vendor trusts you, you trust the vendor, he also trusts you back. So you guys have that kind of relationship, so he wouldn't want to tarnish his image or reputation. So you make sure he's giving you the best deal, even if it's super expensive. You make sure the iPhone he's giving you doesn't have any fault, and even if it does have fault, you make sure he tells you the truth. Oh, this and this is the problem, these are the situation, this is the situation, this is the problem with the phone. So if you still want to purchase it, you do. You know, if you're buying an iPhone, make sure you've used all that we've spoken about as a checklist. to make sure you are on the safer side, and then voila, you are good to go. Alright guys, so if you think this video has been helpful to you, I'm pleading on your behalf, please support the channel by subscribing, turning on the notification, and then also liking our videos. And if you think there are other things that I left out, there are other things you need to check when you're buying a used iPhone, please make sure you put inside the comment section. Put it there. It will be useful to somebody else. It will be useful to another person. So make sure you drop your comment in the section. See you guys next time.